Over the past few months, the rise of NFTs has been exponential. Some are even comparing this rise and the volatility that we see in the NFT space similar to Bitcoin in 2015 and 2016. So let's break down what my flipping strategy is, what I'm sort of making as returns, and why I am so bullish on NFTs, whether that's just in the short term or the longer term play with this new technology. In this video, I'm not only going to show you some of the projects that I like and have been investing into, but also how I'm actually going about flipping and what I'm actually doing in terms of tactics to get my 10x return on my Ethereum. If you're interested, keep watching. Hey guys, my name's Ravi and welcome back to Personal Finance with Ravi Sharma. If you're new here, smash that subscribe button because I talk about real estate, cryptocurrency, and financial freedom. Now, if you are Australian based and you really want to get started in crypto, I use CoinSpot as my exchange of choice, which is Australia's most trusted exchange, and that's why I use it. Now, the really cool thing about CoinSpot right now is that they just crossed 2 million users in Australia, which is phenomenal. I've got detailed videos on this channel about how to get started with CoinSpot, and you can definitely check out that video here, which is a step-by-step guide of how to get started. But not only that, they're actually running a promotion right now, which is that you will get a Lambo.
No, I'm not kidding.
Basically, how it works is CoinSpot's actually celebrating that they've got 2 million users, and it's actually really exciting because they're going to celebrate by giving away a Lamborghini. So you can actually go and check out this website, and I'll leave a link in the description below where you can actually get started and check out all the terms and conditions. But essentially, they've been around since 2013, and you can go ahead and see how you can actually enter to win. And it's important to note, in order to participate, you need to have a verified CoinSpot account. And I've got my own referral link down in the description below, which is actually a code or the link that you can use directly to sign up and register. When you actually do that, you'll get $10 of free Bitcoin, which is awesome. But over here, you can check out all the full terms and conditions as well. But guys, who doesn't want a Lambo, and that too for free? So definitely go check it out if you're interested. Now, when it comes to NFTs, there is so many moving pieces to the puzzle that you can get overwhelmed and lost. And you know, even for me, doing this for a couple of months, looking at NFTs and spending a lot of time every day doing it, I've realized that you can't just simply look at the market and go for everything and anything. There are so many opportunities popping up, but at the same time, there's so much volatility. So you can end up losing your marbles. And so with anything, always tread carefully. And I don't give financial advice. I'm not registered for that. I don't have a piece of paper on the wall behind me. But if you're looking to get started with how to buy crypto firstly, well, you know, check out that CoinSpot video. And if you're looking at how I connect the CoinSpot exchange to the actual MetaMask wallet to go and purchase on OpenSea, then definitely go check out this video, and I'll leave a link in the description below for that too. So it's important to note that Ethereum is the currency that everything's denominated in when we are buying on OpenSea. So there are a multitude of other places you can actually start buying NFTs, now on Solana network, on Cardano's network, but for this, we are focusing on the biggest network, which is Ethereum, and on OpenSea. A couple of things that I will talk about in this video, and it could become quite lengthy, but I urge you to stick around because this is the sort of information that I've always been looking for. So sit back, relax, and we'll cover off how I actually flip. So what sort of tactics I'm using. Then we'll also talk about passive income and real utility with NFTs and what that actually means. And then I'm going to share with you what I think are my blue chip investments that I've made in NFTs that I plan to hold for a longer term. Now, when it comes to NFTs, yes, you've got to do the research and you've got to do it well. So if you're lazy and you don't want to do that research, well, that's something that I have introduced into the Patreon community over the last couple of months. That's where you are going to find me talking about floor prices, why certain things are trending, what sort of utility they have, and what's happening in the Discord communities. I understand that most people don't have the time to sit there, scroll through hours and hours of Discord community conversation, and that's where, if you're in the Patreon community, I'm focusing on a particular niche and I share my findings on there, which makes it a lot easier for people to find other projects and also prompts them to start looking at the certain metrics that I share in those groups. So if you are interested in getting more daily updates around projects I'm buying into, why I'm buying into them, and the thought process I have with investing into NFTs and crypto, then definitely go and join the Patreon community. We just crossed over 100 members last week, and it's just so amazing. So thank you so much for the support, guys. If you are in that Patreon community, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So with NFTs, I have two bags, the Huddle Bag and the trading bag. Pretty similar to what I do in my actual crypto portfolio. I have the Huddle Bag and then I have the trading bag. So what does it mean to have the Huddle Bag? Well, this is where I have my blue chip sort of investments, and I'll talk about those projects at the end. But with my trading bag, I'm looking at how do I purchase into something, follow the narratives around what's happening in the space, and why I believe we're going to have some price appreciation. Now, there are so many factors to consider and metrics to use and look at when it comes to why a certain project will go up in price. Now, nobody's got a crystal ball, but if you've been in the space long enough, you have pattern recognition. Similar to what I see with trading cards, similar to what I see with real estate and the buyer's agency, it all comes together when you spend enough time looking at these things. So that's effectively what I've done. I've created a system for myself where I've got a checklist and I look through everything that I want to look at before I go into a project. So one of the biggest tactics I use, and it's super easy and very simple to actually use, is that when I go and purchase into a project after doing my research, I'll go in and say purchase at the floor price being say 0.3 ETH. Now, what I'll do is I'll immediately list it straight after that for say 1 ETH, which is about a clean 3x on my investment. And I'm not expecting to sell straight away at 1 ETH. What it does, it allows me to have a clear mind, a clear strategy of when I want to take profits on that project. When things run up, and they do run up very quickly, it's hard not to get emotional about it. And if I'm going in there just purely to trade, I'm trying to get a return on my investment as quickly as possible. So I'm using those funds to rotate that into another project and then multiply those actual gains. So one of those things is list straight away, immediately after purchasing, and you never know that even though the floor might be at 0.5 or it might be at 0.6, someone might actually go and buy it for 1 ETH because they aesthetically think it looks amazing, or they think it's rare, or they really like something about that project. Another tactic that I actually use that has been actually very fruitful when it comes to flipping NFTs is that if the floor is say at 0.3 ETH, and then I actually look at what else is selling in and around that floor. So, 0.34, 0.38, 0.4, and I'll look to see if there's anything that's rare in terms of the traits that they have that are desirable. Now, often what happens is when prices start moving on these projects, some people have listed them, but they forgot that, hey, maybe the floor of that rare trait has actually moved now. And this can actually exponentially increase the flips that you make. An example of this was actually an NFT called Chill Frogs. Now, I called this out a couple of weeks ago in the Patreon community and I said, hey guys, I'm buying about 8 of these because it makes a lot of sense to me. It checks off all of these things. The metrics all match up. That's why I'm going in. So what I did was I went in when the floor price was 0.1. Now, only 3 days later did the price go from 0.1 as the floor to 0.55 as the floor. Now, that's a clean 5.5x on my return. Now, that doesn't really make sense for people that don't know what the value of Ethereum is, but as of recording today, if we were to use today's value, then that would be turning $500 into $2,500 in about 3 days. Not bad. Now, when I was going ahead and purchasing, it was important to stay liquid, right? When I was purchasing these 8 or so Chill Frogs, I realized that I wanted to go and purchase 1 or 2 that had a rarer trait. So I went and used my second tactic and looked at what was around this floor and to see if there was anything rare. What I did find was a rare sort of trait that I thought aesthetically looked amazing and was at 0.18, which is almost twice as much as the floor. So to the average person, they may look at that and say, well, I could just buy 2 instead of just this 1 that I think is going to do well. But again, pattern recognition. So I use what I've learned across other projects to bring it across here. And I ended up purchasing that for 0.18, which is actually $930, but only 3 days later to sell it for 1.98 ETH, which is actually 10,300. I know, 11% sort of return. I'll take that every day of the week. So that's my trading account. I've got some tactics that I use, I've got some metrics that I use, and I've been developing that over the last few months when I've been in the NFT land. Now, this does require a bit more active involvement, researching, constantly staying on top of Twitter, seeing what's happening, what sort of airdrops are coming in, and what sort of announcements are being made. That's where the access to the Patreon community, I think everyone's really loving what I'm putting out there. And I think one of the reasons why people like being there is because they can get all of the resource in terms of some research across real estate, cryptocurrency, and NFTs and the projects I'm looking at all in the one space every single day. Again, if you're interested, there's a link in the description below. I advise go for the premium group. That's where you get everything. So that's the trading account. Now, if I've got a Huddle Bag, this is the one where I go, look, I want to invest into the blue chip sort of investments. I will use some of the profits I make from my trading account, come across into my Huddle Bag and go in, try and buy some of those blue chip projects. One notably is Doge Pound. Now, I got into this when the actual floor was 0.85 ETH, and is now currently 3 ETH. And that's a difference of $4,400 to actually get in. And now it's worth about $15,600. Now, the reason why I like Dogepound, and there's a couple of other projects that I'll mention at the end, but the reason I like Dogepound is because it's unique in the sense that it's actually going to introduce staking soon, which will provide passive income, but it also acts as a launch pad to go into other NFT projects that come out that are brand new. So for example, if you were to go in and have a Dogepound, you would actually be getting access to a launch pad, which allows you pre-sales or early sales to other NFTs. So the latest one that they actually released, they had a pre-sale of 0.05 ETH, but when they were going to do a public mint, that was actually going to be for 0.07 ETH. So again, you're getting the benefit there. But not only that, because you were able to secure something on a project that is quite popular, immediately, once it came onto OpenSea in the secondary market, it was already 3x'd at 0.15. Again, I know it takes time to get used to. We're talking about ETH, but it all starts making sense very quickly when you're in the space. So we've covered off the trading portfolio, the Huddle Bag. Now comes passive income and real life utility. Something I urge you all to go and check out is Gary Vee's actual NFT project called VeeFriends. Now what he's done is effectively he's using NFTs as like a digital membership into his ecosystem, his universe. And I believe the long-term technology of what NFTs stand for and how the utility works and attaches value to it is going to be similar to how Gary Vee's doing it. And this is where the future is headed to. Now, yes, people are going to jump into the comment section and be like,
NFTs are a scam, they're all going to zero.
Yeah, maybe they are, but the technology and the thesis behind what's actually happening, following the narrative, actually makes a lot of sense. So whether it works out in 2021 or 2022, or it works out in 2030, it doesn't matter. The key is that you're looking at how this technology works and how this will have real life utility and real life use. So passive income, earning tokens is part of holding NFTs, which is phenomenal, right? We know that we got introduced to staking with our crypto, so Bitcoin, your Ethereum, and you could earn like 5%. But what passive income you can get through NFTs is through a token that they create, and some of these projects are already doing this. A real notable example is Genesis Kongs. So by simply holding one of these NFTs, you earn a banana token.
I know, gorillas, apes, and bananas. Are you serious right now? Bear with me.
So you could have purchased this a couple of weeks ago for 50 ETH.
Yes, that's 50 ETH, 50.
Which would actually work out to be about $250,000. But the reason why there's so much hype around this project is because the passive income you earn is absolutely crazy. So the actual amount that you could earn is about $475,000 a year.
Are you serious right now?
But what's exciting is not only do you earn that yield, the value of the Kong actually goes up as well. So in this case, the NFT value is actually appreciating. So you got the capital growth, and you have the passive income that gets paid out daily. And now the Kongs are actually worth 150 ETH, which is about $800,000 versus the $250,000 that you initially put in. So you're getting capital growth, but you're also getting the yield. And this is where I think the game is changing when it comes to NFTs and the future of this space. When people realize that the rents have compressed in real estate all around the world and it's unaffordable, people are going to start looking at alternative options. Now, I've got to give you the disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. So do your own research, figure out if this is interesting to you. If you're even in this part of the video, you probably find some interest in it. Use these videos as a prompt to go and start researching. So look, I did promise that at the end of this video, I was going to talk about a few projects I like. Now, I have invested into Mutant Cats, which I think is a very interesting take on NFTs. And basically they act as a DAO. So they go out and they purchase other NFTs, right? Other NFT projects that are blue chips, like your Cool Cats, your Fidenzas, your CryptoPunks, and they go out and they keep it in a vault. What they do as well is they actually go and pay you out a token, which is called Fish.
You know, cats and fish. You see a trend here.
But when I mentioned this in the Patreon community, I was buying it at 0.4, which was the floor at the time, and I broke down what my research looked like. Now they're at 4x, which they sit at about 1.6 ETH. They even went as high as 2.6, but with volatility, obviously we have price movements. But what's really cool about holding a Mutant Cat is that you earn about $18,000 a year per Mutant Cat. That's pretty exciting because when you actually break down your initial investment into the project at 0.4 ETH, then you compare that to what you can actually earn as a passive income, it starts blowing your mind when you see what sort of returns you could get outside of the traditional markets. Now, at the moment, it's 1.6 ETH. I still think it's cheap, especially with what they're doing in the space. But again, it's not financial advice. I personally won't be buying any more. I do have a few of these and I'm very happy. Similar to the mutant cats, another project I've been looking at and I've been talking about in the Patreon community is Halloween bears. And they've been sort of doing the same thing mutant cats are doing, but with Halloween bears, they have the token that's coming out, staking's gonna come out. They're about 2 weeks behind where mutant cats are. Now, does that mean that Halloween bears are gonna be doing as well as, mutant cats? No, it doesn't. But what it does is it means pattern recognition, narratives, and what people are gonna follow is exactly that. They can't get into something that's, more expensive. They're gonna come into something that's a little bit more affordable. So my play here is that I'm gonna wait for staking, earn that yield, as well as possibly sell a few of these because I hold a larger bag of what I've got in Halloween bears than I do in mutant cats, because I understood that there is a return on investment here that makes a lot of sense to me. And before you go, if you have enjoyed this video, definitely like the video and subscribe to the channel. But my big blue chip actual investments that I actually hold in my Huddle Bag are Doge Pound, I've got World of Women, Rumble Kongs, and Crypto Dads. Amongst other things that I have, these are the ones that I believe are the only ones gonna make me question whether I sell now or whether I never sell over the next couple of years. I know it's a long video. I did want to give you some context and give you some real value. I hope you have enjoyed this video. It takes me a lot of time to actually go and research and do everything. But again, if you are interested in, purchasing NFTs and looking at how all that works, there's a link in the description below to get started with CoinSpot to go and purchase the Ethereum. I've got videos in the description below as well of a step-by-step guide of going money in to CoinSpot, to going into MetaMask and actually purchasing some NFTs. I hope you've enjoyed today's video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks, guys.